Today on Public Eye News, a fatal side-by-side accident in Marinette County, arrest in a forgery scheme downstate, and the 2026 fishing is underway.
Coming up, Mira Bokovic will give you your weather forecast. We'll take a look at conditions for today and days to come. And later, JT Demag will give you your sports breakdown. I'm Bianca Kroll.
And I'm Emily Goodacre. This is Public Eye News. According to the Marinette County Sheriff's Office, deputies responded to a single vehicle crash on Crowdon Falls Road in the town of Stevenson. An off-duty detective, Randy Miller, reported finding the UTV rolled on its side with two people trapped underneath and immediately began helping at the scene. Investigators say 40-year-old Brooke D. Bolanger was driving north when she failed to negotiate a curve and the vehicle rolled over. Authorities say Bolanger was not wearing a seatbelt or helmet and sustained fatal injuries. A passenger on the UTV was also injured and taken to the hospital for treatment. Officials say speed, alcohol, and the lack of safety restraints appear to have contributed to the crash, which remains under investigation. And three mid-Michigan men, Avril Detainman, Daniel Nolan, and Dwayne Johnson, are facing consequences after a large identity theft scheme. Judge Janice Cunningham of the 56th Circuit Court in Eaton County sentenced the men after pleading guilty to an identity theft and unclaimed property fraud scheme. Authorities say the group tried to steal more than $579,000 in unclaimed properties by using a stolen identity and forged documents. Detainman and Nolan were sentenced to 3 to 20 years in prison, while Johnson received 1 year of probation for his role in the plan. The group even recruited someone to impersonate the victim in person to try to collect a second check. State officials say the case is a reminder that identity theft can carry serious consequences.
The spring fishing season is here in Michigan. The start of this month kicked off the official new fishing license year in Michigan. Though before Michiganders can hit the waters to start fishing, the regulations for fishing need to be reviewed. Major regulations have changed by the Michigan Natural Resources Commission for the 2026 season that will be in effect until March 31st, 2027. Sunard Rock and Big Reef now have daily possession limits on lake trout and splake. Lake Independence and Teal Lake are under new walleye regulations. The walleye size must be a minimum of 15 inches, and all walleye 18 to 23 inches are now protected from harvest. The possession limit is 5 walleye and no greater than 23 inches. Several other restrictions have been changed, and it's best to look at the 2026 Michigan fishing regulations. And Michigan gas prices have dropped 9 cents since last week. Michigan drivers are now paying an average of $3.87 per gallon on regular unleaded. Motorists are now paying an average of $58 on a full gallon of gas. According to the Energy Information Administration, gasoline demand has decreased from 8.92 million to 8.68 million. The gasoline production has decreased by 9.6 million barrels. Compared to last week, Metro Detroit saw a gas price decrease, with the average being $3.89 per gallon. At this time, Marquette has the highest gas price at $4.02, while the lowest is $3.71 per gallon. To save up on gas, you can combine errands, shop for the best gas prices, consider using cash at retailers, remove excess weight outside of your vehicle, drive conservatively, and enroll in saving programs. And the crew of Artemis II entered a new phase of its mission overnight, with the Orion spacecraft now fully in what's called the lunar sphere of influence. Bradley Blackburn explains what comes next as the crew prepares for radio silence on the dark side of the moon.
Artemis II can now feel the pull of the moon. Just after midnight, the Orion capsule traveled so far from Earth that the moon's gravity is now stronger than the home planets. Shortly before, the crew maneuvered the spacecraft to see the growing moon out the window.
It's just like we're a bunch of little kids up here. We cannot get enough of this. It's amazing.
The views from the crew have fascinated the world, capturing the blue planet in a single frame. This image shows part of the far side of the moon not visible from Earth.
Just really put our place in the universe in perspective.
Later today, they will see the moon in a way no humans have before, passing around it at the farthest distance any crewed mission has ever traveled. And for 40 minutes, the crew will lose contact with NASA as the moon blocks their signal.
We'll take a break, a breather, probably, some times to reflect, and we'll meet them on the other side.
In an interview as the Earth grew further in the distance, the crew was already reflective.
You're on a spaceship called Earth that was created to give us a place to live in the universe. Trust me, you are special. In all of this emptiness, whether you believe in God or not, this is an opportunity for us to remember where we are, who we are, and that we are the same thing and that we got to get through this together.
That message hit home on NASA's social media. It's been viewed millions of times. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Don't touch that dial. Mira will be right back with your weather forecast after this short break.
So, Dad, who in our family had short arms and legs?
Yeah, Lila was like that. Then there's my mother.
Do you think there have been dwarfs in the past?
Not that I'm aware of, but we have a tendency in that direction.
People like us get described as disproportionate, even though we have lovely proportions.
What does it mean to liberate your body?
I guess that's what I'm trying to figure out.
The Tallest Dwarf, Monday, April 6th at 10/9 Central on PBS and the PBS app.
Welcome to Public Eye News. I'm Miro Bokovic, here to bring you today's weather forecast. Taking a look at our roof cam, looks like that snow has cleared up a ton, so we're having some overcast skies across campus. Looks like in our map we have in Houghton, it is 22 degrees, and we're seeing those snowy conditions across the north side of the UP. In Ironwood, 24 degrees. And in Iron Mountain, we're seeing some windy conditions, which is clustering around the south, and it's 31 degrees there. In Menominee, it is 40 degrees. Taking a look at the eastern side of the UP, in Escanaba, it is 31 degrees. In Manistee, 30 degrees. In Sault Ste. Marie, 36 degrees. And back home in Marquette, it is 23 degrees. Taking a further look into our current conditions, winds are coming out of the north at 25 miles per hour with gusts up to 33 miles per hour. Now that's pretty strong. And our barometric pressure is 30.19 inches and rising. Taking a look into tonight's conditions, we're seeing more of that snow with a low of 15 degrees, and our winds are out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Our moon phase is a waning gibbous. Looking at tomorrow's conditions, we're finally seeing some sun with some mostly sunny conditions, a high of 35 and a low of 25, with winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking further ahead now, on Wednesday, we're going back to that wintry mix with a high of 46 and a low of 40. But then we'll have a breakthrough later in the week, with Thursday having a high of 48 and a low of 32, with finally seeing some of those sunny skies. And on Friday, a high of 41 with a low of 30. That's all I have. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Mira, for that weather report. I'm looking forward to the sun that's going to shine here soon. Now back onto some statewide news. Michiganders are being encouraged to conduct a financial check-in. America's Save Week runs through April 10th as an encouraging people across the state to focus on building stronger saving habits. The Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services, or DIFS, says the week is a good time for residents to review their accounts and check their budgets. Throughout April, the department is also recognizing Michigan Open Account Correlation Month alongside Financial Literacy Month. Through the correlation, banks and credit unions across the state offer low or no-cost accounts to help people access basic financial services. DIFS will be posting updates on Facebook to help motivate individuals and families to participate in America Saves Week. And Michigan Attorney General Dana Nessel is joining other states in a lawsuit against the administration of Donald Trump over a new executive order dealing with elections. Nessel and an alliance of more than 20 attorney generals argue that the order tries to take control of election rules that are normally handled by states. The lawsuit claims the order would create a federal list of eligible voters and restrict how mail-in ballots, which are used by over 2.2 million Michiganders, are delivered. The move could interfere with existing state voter systems and make it harder for some people to vote by mail. The attorney generals are asking a federal court to block the order, saying states, not the president, have the authority to run elections. Now the case could help decide how much control the federal government has over future elections. And President Donald Trump says Iran is on the deadline to open up the Strait of Hormuz or face consequences. The threat of escalating attacks comes as others in the region are trying to put a temporary halt to fighting. We are also learning more details about the daring rescue of an F-15 crew member from inside Iran. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
U.S. Central Command released this video of strikes inside Iran. President Trump is pushing his deadline until Tuesday night, calling on the regime to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or else he's threatened military action against all of Iran's power plants and bridges.
This Tuesday at 8 p.m., your final deadline.
The president has not signed off on a new 45-day ceasefire proposal submitted to the U.S. and Iran by others in the region.
They made a proposal, and it's a significant proposal. It's a significant step. It's not good enough, but it's a very significant step.
Iran has also rejected the proposed ceasefire, saying they want a permanent end to fighting. And the foreign minister said Iran's response to U.S. attacks on infrastructure will not be limited to the Middle East.
The potential escalation comes as the White House is celebrating the rescue of the second F-15 crew member who was shot down over Iran Friday.
It was two, and we held off the one because if they would have known we had him, so we held off the one. They are both recovering very well. They were both injured, and they're doing well.
The Air Force colonel survived hiding in the mountains while teams of U.S. Special Forces raced to find him before Iranian militants. The administration says the CIA was also involved, spreading a deception campaign to throw the Iranians off the trail. Dozens of Special Forces members and aircraft were involved in the rescue, with the U.S. abandoning 2 C-130 cargo planes and 2 helicopters.
The kind of near-run disaster that occurred when these planes got stuck on the ground, the ability to save the situation from that, to get the downed crew member out, all without a single American loss of life. Our military really does have extraordinary tactical and operational excellence.
U.S. officials say they blew up the aircraft before departing to keep it out of enemy hands. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
And after this short break, JT will have your sports breakdown.
Hiding right under our noses, there are secret worlds that come to life. Now, on this rapidly changing planet, discover how people are finding new ways to live alongside nature. That could help the next generation create real change. A shared planet is a better home for all of us.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm JT DeMog, here to bring you today's sports action. Starting it off on the court, where the Detroit Pistons face off against the Orlando Magic in what could be a preview of the first round of the NBA playoffs. The Pistons have the Eastern Conference 1 seed already clinched, as Orlando is in a tight race for the 8 seed. Detroit is still without its superstar Cade Cunningham, even though they've won 8 of their last 10 games since his injury. During this stretch, Detroit is averaging 117 points, with both Jalen Duren and Dennis Jenkins averaging 19 points apiece. This is the 4th time these teams have faced off against each other this season, with Detroit winning 2 of the 3 games. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. And moving it over to the ice, as the Red Wings lost a thriller against the Minnesota Wild 5-4 last night. The Wild led the game 4-1 going into the third period before allowing Detroit to score 3 unanswered in the third. Kirill Kaprizov completed his 6th NHL hat trick following a late Patrick Kane penalty, propelling Minnesota over Detroit. Matt Boldy and Vladimir Tarasenko each scored for Minnesota. This loss is concerning for Wings fans, as they have lost 12 of their last 20 games, slowly falling out of playoff contention yet again. And with 5 games to play, the Red Wings are 2 points out of the final wildcard spot and will face the Columbus Blue Jackets Tuesday night at 7 p.m. And now ending things back on the court, where the stage is set and the lights are bright in the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament Championship between the Michigan Wolverines and the University of Connecticut Huskies. The 1-seeded Wolverines are 36-3 this season and have won 9 of their last 10 games during that span. They've dominated opponents with an average winning margin of 12 points. The Wolverines are led by Elliot Cadeau and Big Ten Player of the Year Yaxel Lendenberg. Cadeau is averaging just over 10 points with 5 assists per game, and Lendenberg is averaging nearly 18 points. They will face off against the Dan Hurley-coached Huskies, who hold a 34-5 record and are 8-2 in their last 10. The Huskies are led by Terrace Reed Jr., who is averaging 14.8 points with 8.8 assists per game. This is the first time Michigan has been in the final round since 2018, and UConn has been into the big game 3 times in the past 4 seasons, winning 2 of those games. That's all I have for sports. Back to the desk.
Thanks, JT, for that sports breakdown, but that's all the time we have for today. I'm Emily Goodacre.
And I'm Bianca Kroll.
And this is Public Eye News. We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.